Hello everyone, and welcome to part 3 of the full video walkthrough for Dark Souls 1. Today we'll get into the action and actually tackle the first area that has some genuine enemies in it, the Undead Burg, or at least the first part of it, because I'm trying to keep these bite-sized. So as we enter this sewer, which I've shown you last time, there will be a few hollow soldiers. This guy here trying to throw some fire bombs, but he's easy to get around. Also notice how I gave my character the 16 strength required to two-hand the Zweihander, giving him a massive edge in combat. This house is completely empty except for that enemy. There's nothing in here to be looted. Right, now we'll see the first instance where Seek Guidance has an effect. If we use it right here, we'll see a previously hidden message telling us that jumping off a head is a thing. And that's precisely what we'll do. If we break these barrels, we can hop down onto this ledge and grab a large soul of a lost undead. This is worth 400 souls. Again, you can get 500 for it later on, so unless you really need it, hold on to it. And then in this little hidden away room, there's a small soul of a lost undead. Giving 200, but again, can turn that into 500. And then there's a bit of an ambush here, these two guys climbing up, but even with a weaker weapon, they shouldn't be much of an issue. And the broken straight sword is the only thing they can drop. It's not a very valuable item. Okay, here on the right, there's more people trying to ambush you, but you can actually hit them before they climb up. And even if you did less damage to them, any damage at all makes them drop to their death. So that's something you can do. This corpse has some rubbish on it, which while the description says it's completely useless, there's actually a use for it that we will see at a later point. I would suggest not just throwing it away. It has a purpose. It's actually kind of useful. And yeah. Since there's no carry load, you can just hold on to it and it will come in handy. This house is not quite empty. There's actually a soul item you can grab right behind this corner here, somewhat hidden. Just a small soul, but again, it helps in the long run. As you enter this open area here, a dragon flies by. If you run ahead too quickly, he can actually do damage to you by landing. But if you slow down and just stop, there's no issue. And then, climbing up the second set of staircase, you will aggro some enemies. I would suggest then heading back like I did, because there's an enemy shooting crossbows at you. And if you're down there in that corner where I was hiding, he can't get to you. That was a very sneaky hollow, so I opted to kill the crossbow guy first and then go for the melee guy following me. Okay, this crossbow hollow can also drop the crossbow he's using. It's not terribly useful, but because of its low requirement, you might want to hang on to it. Generally, though, crossbows are not that great. And here we'll see one of the nice ways you can deal with the spear hollows. I have a massively heavy weapon, so I can basically ignore the fact that they are shielding all the time. However, this character here has a much lighter weapon, and I can demonstrate another easy way to deal with them, and that's parrying. It takes them a while to attack sometimes, but they are very easy to parry. And a single riposte will most of the time kill them, even with a weak beginner weapon. And then hidden behind these crates is a staircase down. Be wary, there is an enemy behind these shelves here. And I misjudged the range of my weapon here, but it happens. Easy enough to kill though. And he dropped his battle axe, which is the bandit starting weapon and pretty handy for strength builds.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale. Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A horrible goat demon has moved in below. And up above, there's that humongous drake and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave. Here, I'm not here to chit-chat. We talk business or we talk nothing at all.
And that's all he says. He sells some consumables. Nothing too useful except for the repair powder, maybe. Depending on your weapon choice. Much more important, however, is the residence key and the bottomless box. I would suggest buying the residence key unless you have the master key and no interest in ever doing magic. And the bottomless box just allows you some inventory management. It is by no means mandatory. It's a low hassle thing, and I really like having it. But it doesn't give any real gameplay benefit. He is also the first merchant who sells you a bow. It's just a short bow, but it's still handy. And he also sells some basic ammunition. So if you want a ranged weapon, this is a good place to get one early on.
Thank you kindly.
As you see, I'm back on my dexterity character and I'm actually going to buy the short bow and some ammo. Bows are much more useful than crossbows because you can manually aim them. That's what makes them generally the superior ranged choice. After the merchant, I'm heading down this corridor here. There are 4 of these very weak hollows at the end of this, guiding a ladder. You can basically get them individually, though the last 2 are a little difficult to get separately. But having all 4 of them aggroed at the same time is actually somewhat dangerous, because while they don't necessarily do much damage on their own, their ability to interrupt you, especially with weak starting armor, is actually quite impressive and can be dangerous. So, best be careful. Having dealt with them, you can climb up the ladder. And then on the roof here we get 10 throwing knives. Just for completion's sake. They're not very useful because their damage is quite low. However, you can do this jump. And then up the staircase and to the right you can grab a guaranteed light crossbow. So if you didn't get one as a drop and don't feel like farming for one, you're guaranteed to get one right there. And now back on the main track, I'm just speeding this up a little bit. And right here, behind this door, which I've previously ignored, is the wooden shield, which may be an upgrade for classes that have started out with a very weak shield, but for the warrior that I'm playing here, it's definitely not so. Alright, that being done, that's the first section complete. I hope you found this helpful, and as always, feedback is appreciated. Bye bye!